All right, welcome back, Bear Down, and welcome to your new week, Draft Week, officially here. It's here, baby. Let's hear it. It's here. We're here to Draft Week, and no, we're not going to let off the pedal. We're never going to have an opportunity like this again where we're picking number 1 and number 9. So we're going to fill it. We're going to pump it. We're going to do it. I am going live on draft night. For those who don't know, the notification's out there. Check it out. Please come join me at least for a little bit. Come join it for the reactions. Excited to have you guys part of it. Part of this today, we're starting off the week with no trade simulators. No trades. We've been doing too many trade mock drafts. All right, I'll throw a couple in the end. But no trades. Which simulator was the most realistic? So there's really 5 that people use. Really just a couple that people use. But I'm going to throw the top 5 in here. PFF, Pro Football Network, PFN, ESPN, NFL Mock Draft Database Simulator, and NFL Draft Buzz Simulator. So to recap, we're not going to do our own simulation. We're just going to do kind of an idea of what these ones do. And, of course, after I've established that we are going to pick defensive end in the first round, that there's no way with 4, 5, and 6 sitting there right there. Arizona, Chargers, Giants sitting there with wide receiver as their biggest need. There's no way that Rome Odunze will fall to the Bears, that the Bears have brought on all of these players for their top 30s. That all these players are there. And, yeah, it'd be nice if Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Odunze, or Malik Neighbors fell to the Bears, team them up with Caleb Williams for the next 5 years at least, to be able to have a duo, a tandem in Chicago, to be able to have a historic run with wide receiver, quarterback duo. But I just don't see it happening. So, of course, after I've made that video, made my point very clear, made it known that I really believe we're taking defensive end, that it just won't fall to us one of those top 3. If it did, I've made it known. I want them. Let's snag Rome Odunze in a heartbeat. Take that up to the podium and take it. There's no way it's happening, right? Well, let's run into these mock draft databases. First simulator I did was Pro Football Network. I'm just going to run through it real quick for you guys. Let's look at how realistic it was. On the right there, Caleb went first. Drake May went second. Jaden Daniels went third. Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr. Maybe you switch those two, but it's pretty realistic of what teams would take so far. And then the rumor is out there that the Giants could take a quarterback. Well, then the Titans take Joe Alt and Falcons take an edge. I don't know if they'd take Latu. Probably take Dallas Turner, especially with their hybrid 3-4-4-3 scheme on defense. Well, that leaves Rome Odunze there for us with the Bears. So all this talk I've been making, all this talk I've been saying, it's never going to happen. Our first simulator says he's there. So I took him. I'm only taking what it gave me. I'm doing that, and I'm doing my mock drafts, no trade downs today. So here's the first one. Pro Football Network making me a liar, giving us Rome Odunze, and I'm extremely happy about it. 75, Kieran Amagaji is there. And then at 122, Tanner Bortolini is there. And I think it's a solid backup role to see if he could develop for a year underneath Coleman Shelton. Tongue-tied this morning. Sorry, guys. Under Coleman Shelton. So far, happy with PFNs. And this is probably the one most people are using right now. It doesn't require the pay subscription with PFF. And it's pretty accessible. And it's pretty accurate according to what most people think. So far, happy with PFN. Number 2, we're going to go to PFF. Caleb Williams there at 1. And then lo and behold, Rome Odunze was there at 9, so I took him again. And I do not think there's any chance Rook or Horohor. I can't, man, guys, this morning. Or Horo. Oof. And then Matt Conclaves would be a great tackle at 122. So I like this draft too. It gave us an A+. But let's look at how the full top 10 went. Caleb Williams, Drake May, J.J. McCarthy. I don't think I'm too shocked by anything so far. That could realistically happen. Marvin Harrison Jr. 4, Malik Neighbors, okay. Jaden Daniels, same thing. Again, they're taking New York as a quarterback, and I'm saying never going to happen. But here we are. Now, 7 and 8, I would flip-flop to make this one accurate. I think PFF's a little off on this one. Dallas Turner to the Titans, Joe Alt to the Falcons. Switch those, and it makes sense. But then here we are, sitting with Rome Odunze in our lap again. Take the ticket up, make it happen. J.C. Latham at 10, all that makes sense. So this one makes sense, and I can't argue with it. Here we go. All right, let's move to NFL Mock Draft Database. This one is, in my opinion, the least accurate one, and the trade proposals are atrocious. So if you're ranking them 1 to 5, stay away from NFL Mock Draft Database Simulator. But same thing in this scenario. We see Caleb Williams at 1, Drake May at 2, Jaden Daniels 3. So far, nothing crazy. Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze, that could happen. I don't see that happening. Marvin Harrison Jr. is clearly the number one wide receiver. But if all these rumors about Marvin Harrison Jr. tanking his stock to get to one of the teams he wants to, would that happen? I doubt it, but it could. Then you got Latu at 7. I don't see that. 8, Brian Thomas Jr. over Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, I'm one of the highest ones on Brian Thomas Jr., but seeing Brian Thomas Jr. go above Marvin Harrison Jr. is just ridiculous. So, anyways, this one out the window to me, but what do we end up with? Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr., Patrick Paul at 75, ridiculous. Ben Sinnott at 122, ridiculous. If this happened, I'm freaking out, but this one will never happen. So I'm going to say so far NFL Mock Draft Database is the most ridiculous of them, and which is one of the biggest reasons I never use it. All right, ESPN's is newly revamped. It looks completely different. And here we go again. We're ending up with a wide receiver at 9 again. They're just trying to make me liar. They're trying to make me the big liar of the day. So here's Caleb Williams at 1, Rome Odunze at 9. Then we get Kieran Amagaji and Austin Booker. I went to the Big 12 Pro Day and watched Austin Booker. He booked it. Did well. I don't think he's a top prospect, but at 122, I would steal him in a heartbeat. I think he'll probably be a late day 3 or maybe even an early day 3, depending on how his visits went with teams. But on the right side, let's look at how it went. We had Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, Drake May. Nothing crazy there. Those could all happen. Marvin Harrison Jr., yep, I expect that. Then the Vikings trading up in this one, all the way to 5. They could do that for Jaden Daniels, 100%. So this is where the scenario where we would get a wide receiver. If someone trades up, especially like number 5, that's a spot where it could happen. And they take a quarterback, then one of these wide receivers could fall. But then Malik Neighbors, Joe Alt, I see that happening. Brock Bowers, I don't agree with going at 8 to the Falcons, but who knows? Maybe it could. So this one's not crazy. I just don't see it falling out that way. But if this scenario happened where we have quarterback trade up from the Vikings, this is where the Bears could snag Rome. So far, 3 out of the 4, we get Rome, and 1 we get Marvin Harrison Jr. Adam's a liar. So far, they're not agreeing with me that we're taking defensive end, but I'm not upset with any of these. All right, and last one, NFL Mock Draft Database. Oh, no. This was NFL Draft Buzz Mock Draft Simulator. This one hardly anybody uses, but I wasn't too discouraged on it, actually. It didn't seem too crazy to me. And I actually really love the Marshawn Kneeland. If we do end up taking wide receiver in the first round, getting Marshawn Kneeland, if he falls to 75, I don't see that happening with how high he's been rising boards, which means teams have probably already been having their eyes on him for a long time. Big body defensive end that can move. So he's a bigger size than our primary 4, but from a small school. Anyways, I like him. We might do something on him later. But at 75, that'd be great. Dominic Pooney, I've showed him before as well. He can move inside to guard as well, but it's solid tackle from Kansas. In the 4th round, that would be a steal. Let's look at how it shook out, though. Caleb Williams 1 on the right-hand side here. Malik Neighbors 2. Joe Alt 3 to the Patriots. I can see Joe Alt going to the Patriots, but they'd probably trade down a little bit with a team wanting to come up. Maybe not. I don't know. If they see Joe Alt as that guy, they definitely have bigger needs than quarterback. And they brought in Jacoby Brissett as a Band-Aid. I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? It's not the point of this video. But then Marvin Harrison Jr. 4. Brock Bowers 5. Don't see that happening. Jaden Daniels 6. Olufashanu 7. That could happen for sure. Drake May going 8. That's ridiculous. The Falcons obviously signed Kirk to a multi-year deal. I don't see Drake May going to the Falcons any way you slice it. But that leaves Rome to us at 9. So 4 out of the 5 had Rome available, and 1 had Marvin Harrison Jr. available. So which one did I like the most? I've been using both PFF and Pro Football Network over and over and over again. They have some players in different positions I don't agree with, but who knows when it comes down to the draft. Ben Sennett's one of the biggest one. Kieran Amajabi is another one. Several defensive ends and wide receivers are out of position in some of those. Centers, a lot of them have the centers in weird places. Some of them have them going first round. Some of them have them going second round. Some of them have the 4th rounders in the 3rd round. So it's a crapshoot, but really I like PFF and Pro Football Networks the most. Here's a couple just to start your day with. Now, these are what I call not going to happen, but it would be really cool if they did happen. So both of these are from PFF. And the first one we get Caleb Williams. And then the Vikings. This is on the left-hand side. The Vikings in quarterback needy, wanting to avoid the Broncos and the Raiders trading ahead of them, go ahead and trade us 11 and 23 from the first round this year. I know, guys, this is crazy. We give them 75 and a second rounder back. This is actually pretty even on the trade value chart. And then we trade 11 down to 14 with the Saints for them to come up. I know, it's crazy. We get Latu, Jackson Powers-Johnson, Keon Coleman, Ben Sennett. This would be awesome. And on the right-hand side, this is another one I shared on Twitter. Caleb Williams, we trade down a short amount to the Jets. They want to come up just enough. They're aggressive. They're in a win-now mode, so they're giving away a third-rounder just to come up one spot. Not crazy. Maybe it's a fourth-rounder instead, but third-rounder. Then we trade with the Colts. We go down 5 spots and get their second-rounder. Latu, Ladd McConkey. Then we trade up. We give up a third-rounder next year to come up 17 spots from 72 to 55 and get Kieran Amanjabi. Then we get Marshawn Nealand at 75 and Trevor Keegan at 122. I like both of these. Not going to focus too long on them, but both of these would be cool. I just hope Ryan Poles pulls something really cool off this week during the draft. We're getting there. We're only 3 days away. 3 days away, and we're going to see some kind of magic happen. Realistically, it'll probably be something like this, and I am completely happy with that. If we don't end up with defensive end and we end up getting wide receiver Rome Odunze, we can still pick up a flyer player like Carl Lawson after the draft, and we can I hate being the undrafted free agent dumpster divers again, but there's going to be players available we can bring in to compete in camp. Or maybe it's something like this where we do end up getting Austin Booker as a defensive end to be able to rotate in, see what he can do, and have him compete, bring Carl Lawson in still. Who knows what's going to happen? But if we end up getting this, when I have fully gone to not expecting this to happen at this point, 75% contested catch, 3.2% drop, that is along the lines of Justin Jefferson and Jalen Waddle. I've told you guys there's nobody else in the last half a decade that's come out that is that high of contested catch rate. That is special. So if we end up getting Rome Odunze, when I'm fully expecting at this point not to get him, I'm going to be dancing. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope you guys are just as thrilled as I am for this week. This is going to be huge. We're not going to let up on the mock draft stuff. We're not going to let up on all that stuff because this is a huge week. There was some really fun stuff over the last weekend. I spent a lot of family time, but if you didn't see the Pivot podcast that had the hour-long interview with Caleb Williams, watch it. Cool, calm, collected, motivated. I loved everything about it. I'm enjoying watching Caleb Williams more and more. I hope you guys are getting excited too because it's time. We're there. It's time. So with that, until next time, bear down.